good evening, everyone. I know Danny's about to share his screen so he can get his slide deck.
Everybody see it?
All good, buddy. Here we
Well,
go.
guys, thanks for joining us. We do have a town hall meeting coming up a week tomorrow. I think Thursday the 21st. We're hosting a town hall, so we'll kind of go over some of the same stuff that we'll chat about tonight. Give us a chance to meet in person as well, and then maybe go into some more detail on some of the stuff. But we certainly wanted to try and chat with you guys. I know there's been a lot of info going out on the girls' side, a lot of exciting things happening there, but we certainly wanted to make you feel that the same amount of attention and investments going into the boys' side of the program, and just update you on a few things as we look forward to getting through this kind of busy season, finishing up this season, tryouts, all of that fun stuff, and then looking forward to kind of fall of 26. So for those that maybe haven't met me, it's kind of been a whirlwind last few months, coming in October, but my name's Danny Gibson, the boys director, a licensed coach, coached the women's semi-professional here, Oklahoma City FC, kind of coached youth within Oklahoma, various different roles, over the last 15 years, development academy, ECNL, director club. I've kind of done a little bit of it all, and certainly pride myself highly on really focusing on the development of the program and the players and the coaches that we have. So kind of excited to get my first full season in with Celtic, and excited about the staff we've built, the plans we have, and what we're looking to do moving forward. So we'll briefly go through this presentation, and chat through some things. We'll skip over some of the stuff a little bit quicker because we don't need to go in as much detail. But if anybody has any questions at any point, certainly stop. You can put in the chat function, or like Aaron, you can kind of wait till the last slide, and we'll do a Q&A section as well. So I'll just move through this slide deck. So introductions, we've done that. Ryan Trudgeon, our executive director's on as well. Niall Burley's running sessions, our technical director. So kind of done that piece of it. Brief overview of the club mission, and again, this is on our website. This is something that Ryan, Niall, and the rest of the kind of executive staff have come up with. And again, I think one of the main things that really attracted me to come and get involved with the club was, number one, the people that are in, but also this side of it, that we do have a mission and vision, and kind of everything we do is shaped by these things. It's not just a bunch of coaches coaching a team and thrown out at the facility. It's very intentional with what we're trying to achieve. So you can read through the mission, our vision as well. Basically to be the best that there is in terms of development, in terms of teaching life lessons to all of our players within the state of Oklahoma. So kind of org chart is there. I talked through it a little bit. Ryan kind of sits on top. Niall's in a role where he's a technical director, so a lot of the stuff that's implemented curriculum wise, player pathway, Niall has a big hand in that. He's obviously on the girls' side as well. Myself on the boys with Trevor Hunt doing the pre-RL, so the U11, U12, and then Mikey Thomas and Alex kind of working with the academy. So there's a real alignment and kind of intentionality behind what we're doing, and how we're trying to grow the club and create very talented players and successful teams. We can skip through this because it's got a few updates since we did it, but kind of again the pyramid of where we start, the recreational, building into academy to our pre-RL. The N1 league has come in since then. The girls have obviously gone GA, so it needs a few updates on the graphic, but you kind of get the general picture. We're building towards creating high school, college, professional athletes, which Celtic has a great history of doing. Boys staff, it kind of looks like trading player cards here. You can maybe see if you can trade some of these guys in if you want, but it's a real point of pride for the club, for me, the staff we've been able to put together. I think real diversity, bilingual coaches, coaches from different backgrounds, but all of them kind of aligned in that one, good people involved, and then two, I think are really bought into the vision and what we're trying to achieve. So Ike's a new face that's coming in on the boys' side. Had a long career at Energy, won state championships with Edmund North. Has a real good history of creating players. We have Aiden that we've promoted in that's really done a great job. Super enthusiastic, great coach. Oro's also gonna help with the RL program, and he's mixed in with the other programs as well. Bilingual coach and really invested in growing the program. Thomas, super experienced, getting to work on some different levels. And then again, I mentioned Trevor kind of on the pre-RL stuff where we're really getting those kids from academy, trying to get them ready for the RL league. So super happy with the staff that we've put together, and I think it's really aligned and we're working well to provide a good environment. So Oklahoma Celtic, we currently competing in the ECNL RL, and so we're remaining within the platform under the ECNL banner. Despite the girls going with the GA, we have options moving forward the following year to potentially explore different avenues, MLS next, potentially promotion within the ECNL platform. We did get news uh, that this is kind of some information on the ECNL RL that we got when we went to the Vegas convention. 26 leagues within the RL, lots of clubs, 41 clubs promoted from RL into the ECNL. So again, a lot of that is not just results based, it's a lot about the infrastructure, but again, the more success that we can have in terms of producing players, producing really competitive teams, results, they do matter as well. It certainly gives us a good opportunity, and we are a club that are kind of well thought of within the ECNL platform, having been in it formerly, and having produced some top players that have gone on to top levels. So, there is the opportunity being within the ECNL RL for potential promotion. This was a slide that was pretty cool. They shared as well at the convention. So we were kind of highlighted within that. Of course, we had Alex Gutierrez that came through our 0807 group, that went on to play professionally, playing professionally in Mexico and representing the national team as well. So again, for us, we talk about the platforms all the time that yeah, you want to try and find one that feels right and a good fit for your club, but it's not ever the platform that makes the player or the teams. It's what we're doing on a daily basis. So that's always going to be our focus, to put our players first and hopefully put them in a position to get to the highest level possible, like Alex. That was a little quote that Alex threw up there at the convention. So again, pretty cool that he thinks none of this would have happened without the club and without the opportunities he got playing within the RL. So the league has gone through a realignment. We formerly the last few years have competed in ECNL RL Texas. We got a phone call not this Monday, but the last Monday before, basically discussing realignment within the conferences. So the Texas conference, we're told, is now purely for Texas teams. So this is a lateral move for us. Obviously, we have a lot of Oklahoma teams within this, but we'll now be competing in the ECNL RL Frontier division. Looking through results, looking through and getting the information from our league commissioner, it seems a very competitive league. Arkansas Comets, that you kind of see here on the right of the screen, they've just been promoted from the RL Frontier into ECNL Heartland. So we do feel like there's a pathway potentially for success. There's some more localized travel. Obviously, we had a lot of games last season, San Antonio, and Austin, a lot of times down to Dallas, which I like going and seeking out competition, and I think we'll have some opportunities where we still do that. Um, but it certainly localizes things a little bit more, which potentially frees us up to do some more events, and seek out some different things where we can again push to compete and improve what we're doing. Here's kind of some general info. 18 game season, kind of similar to what we did. Um, Again, the localized competition. We still have access to postseason RL events like we did. So again, the top four um, within the frontier will qualify for regionals, potentially nationals and so on and so forth. And again, that will be something that myself and the staff will be discussing and really pushing that will be the aim at the start of the season for all of our teams to finish within those top spots. Um, we still have the same access to the ECNLRL tournaments and events, so we've kind of highlighted a few for the U13s, 14s. We'll look to go to St. Louis, and for the older age groups, we'll look to go to Virginia, which I think is November, and then we've circled Florida as well, in kind of early January to again get these players to these showcase events, get them in front of college coaches and hopefully get them that exposure and in front of competition. There's some ECNL initiatives that we've probably not done a good enough job getting out to you guys. One of them's the Heritage Project, which is pretty cool. I might not have known too much about it, but being from Scotland and having a daughter that plays within basically the Heritage Project is a database that all our players have access to if they have a parent or grandparent from another country. So for my daughter, a dad from Scotland, she's eligible for the Scottish FA, the national team to reach out to her to potentially, have opportunities there. So if we have, people that have parents from Mexico, Brazil, wherever, anywhere in the world, we can put them into this database and they can potentially get those opportunities. So it's little things like this that we need to make sure we're getting out there and educating our membership on. So the ECNL does have some cool initiatives like that we need to make sure you guys are taking advantage of. Um, in terms of some regional and national, I kind of spoke through our goals for um, going through the ECNLRL events. We're also highlighting the Dallas Cup, which we would like all our teams to go compete in, all our regional teams to go compete in, and then we're also circling the present day tournament in Phoenix, Arizona. That's obviously a spring tournament, but these kind of involve a little bit more travel, so maybe a little bit more planning, some more fundraising type of thing. But we certainly wanted to try and communicate this early as possible. Number one, to hopefully get excited. It'd be cool to go get the chance to compete in Dallas Cup against teams from wherever, all over the world, international teams. Be cool to go play in Florida in front of college coaches. So these are things and opportunities that we feel our membership need to know about, and hopefully take advantage of when they sign up for the fall season. We obviously are going to look at many different tournaments, and the coaches still have some autonomy over tournaments that they want to go to. But again, for the fall, these are kind of four that, particularly the U11 to U15, U16 age groups, these are kind of four that we'll highlight to attend the Oklahoma Winter Showcase for our oldest group, as well as the Heartland. These will be kind of heavily attended by college coaches. So again, these are ones that we highlight for those groups. But traveling as a club, being together with the staff and trying to get that community feeling within the club. So these are again just to try and give you a heads up and maybe drum up some excitement for the fall season. We felt we wanted to communicate this early, that these are four that we're really looking at. But again, obviously the younger ones, we want them to go to the other Norman tournaments as well, the Celtic tournaments, and again some autonomy from the coaching staff to pick and choose some other tournaments as well. We wanted to kind of talk about some of the initiatives that we've been working through a lot of these, and some of our groups have taken advantage of it. Trevor Laffoon and at the meeting next Thursday, Trev will be present, and we'll also have a presentation on the college players, or the players that we've managed to get committed to colleges. Just this last week, the last '08 boy that wanted to play college, that had expressed that was his goal, he committed as well. So that means every player within our '08, '07 age group that had highlighted they wanted to play college, they got a commitment, and a lot of that's through the work that Trevor does. And I know a lot of clubs have these roles and people in these roles, and you might think it's blown smoke, but I've never seen anybody do the work and have the investment that Trevor does. He'll sit down with every player, he'll get their plans, he'll communicate, here's what you need to be doing. If these are your goals, here's the steps you need to take to work towards them. He attends all the college showcases. So while I'm coaching and yelling and screaming at kids, Trevor's over the other side, introducing himself to the coaches and making sure they have all the information they need. We do certain nights where Trevor will invite the college coaches to come to our complex, take them out for food. There's just a lot being done behind the scenes to build these relationships, to make sure that if we have players whose goal is to play at the next level, we do everything possible to kind of highlight them and get them there. We've also had Micah Shanna, excuse me, he's a mental performance coach. That's him there with our 2011 boys a couple of weeks ago. So mentality is there's four parts of the game, like technical, tactical, physical, mentality. And on the youth side, it just gets completely neglected, the mental side. And especially this day and age with social media, with big pressure from school and soccer and girlfriend or whatever else, having somebody that can give the players some tools, work with them, set some goals, and give them some mechanisms to work through things. I think it's going to be a real game changer for us. And everybody that's done the little session with Micah so far has come out with glowing reviews. So we're kind of excited to get that more in depth and get more players in front of Micah, more teams working with him. So that's another thing that we're excited about introducing. And again, this is spring initiatives. This is kind of a year-round deal, but particularly for the high school players and teams, we just feel we need to move the dial a little bit in terms of keeping them involved and really wrapping the club into what they're doing and looking to achieve at high school. We've had some great runs with our high school players and teams, but we want to make sure that the club is very much front and center and part of that as well. Francois has degrees, has experience working with professional team Montpellier in France. So we're leaning on his expertise. We're going to put together some programming through Francois to make sure that the physical side of the game is being hit. Trudge has a presentation that he's going to do around the sleep research and the impact that it can have on performance and mental health and all of these things that we're going to put together and present to teams. We're looking into bringing in sports nutritionist again, if we want to be kind of that all-encompassing club and a club that can cater to everybody, and we want our players to try and strive for the top of the game, then we need to hit on all these areas. And then again, within what we do, all games will be filmed. We need a really increased focus around film, and sometimes players will get told 100 times and not make that adjustment or not make that connection. If we can show them, if we can slow things down, if we can really start increasing our use of the film that we're able to capture, I think this is really going to help us as a whole. And again, leading into the college factor, like helping players put together highlight reels and little clips for social media, whatever it is they're doing, it's only going to again help the environment that we're trying to create for the club. So these are just a few things, and again, there's much more detail and there's some other stuff coming, but we wanted to kind of share these things with you as we presented what's coming for the upcoming season. I think that is everything. So yeah, we can open it up for questions if anybody has anything.
Hey, can you go back to the coaching slide, please? Let me just go over a few things. I really appreciate all the info. Just going to add a couple of things. So I'm really excited to have this leadership team, over our boys staff. Danny, vastly experienced, like you said, about his, A license. He's been around the Oklahoma landscape. That's one of the reasons why we hired him in the first place was his knowledge, his background, his leadership, his mentorship with coaches. And I feel like we've got a great boys staff, that everyone is invested, not just for the player on the field, but the player off the field as well. And I think that's one of our, when I sat down with Niall and Danny, is one of our growth areas to improve certain aspects of our competitive program, whether it's the girls and boys, is really kind of, get the not just the best coaches, but the coaches that are invested in our players here in Norman. So, and that's vitally important factor. So very happy, bringing Ike in, again, very vastly experienced in the youth game, deserves this chance of coaching our top teams, along with Thomas that's been around, Aiden coming in. I know we've had some fantastic feedback of that, a couple of transitional moments with coaches going out and coming back in, and he was one of them. So very very invested coaching staff. So excited on the RL side, and then the platform, the National One League, which is going to, I think it's going to help our second groups as well. This National One League is bringing a lot of Oklahoma clubs together. So it's going to help out with travel, but also the competitive nature as well. So it's putting our teams and players in the best environment to grow. Whether that's the RL Frontier now and this National One League, along with our third teams that potentially could play in the OPL, so the standard Oklahoma Soccer League, or in the National One League. There's going to be two tiers. So it'll be us as a staff to figure out, okay, which tier should our second and third teams be placed in that National One? Do we feel that they're going to be beneficial in tier one or tier two? And that will go for our third team coaches as well, which we feel we have good experience with Song, Mr. Shepherd there as well with Auto in those groups. So very excited about our coaching slate on the boys side. Just to go over, so if you go down a slide, Danny, just to go over the change as well. And Danny mentioned it, the past couple of years, I know we've had some, concerns with the travel, going to Austin, Houston, but still, we're fine with that as long as they're competitive games, and some were. I feel with this lateral movement to the frontier, it's gonna help with the travel, but also give us some competitive games and some groups a chance to be a little bit more competitive, right? To have some more success, and give us more chance to, okay, if we have teams that are topping some groups, that looks better for our club, and we have more opportunities to maybe, okay, we're in the RL, to maybe bump up to the NL in the future, which we've had talks with last year in the Texas. And again, there's been a lot of leadership changes at our club, so maybe Daddy came in just a bit too late for our coaches and teams to have more success, and to give you a little bit more of a foundation. Let's say some teams, middle of the group in that Texas conference, which is great. We had a couple teams bottom, one team second from bottom. So our average standing was, I believe, 14.3 out of those 20 teams. So not a bad placement. In the frontier, there's going to be some teams that I think we can do well against, but also there'll be a challenge as well. So maybe we can get that average up, from 14. There's only 10 teams in this, but can we be in that top 3 percentile as the 6 age groups? So I think that's our goal. As I think Danny mentioned it as well. Whichever front RL league was placed in, I am very excited and very confident our boys program is in great hands with Danny and our leadership staff. This is a lateral move. There's 26 leagues, RL leagues in the country. They are based on where clubs are based, right? So the Frontier is based mainly in Oklahoma and a couple of Arkansas teams. And then the Texas has mainly Texas groups, South Texas, North Texas, and did have just a couple of Oklahoma teams. So they're just realigning how the leagues are based geographically. Then also kind of looking at that competitive nature as well. So I just want to kind of get that out there about the realignment, to help clubs, help with the travel, but also understand there's going to be some teams that are going to be very similar in standard, just like any league. You're going to have top teams, you're going to have the bottom, you're going to have the middle of the pack. I'm confident, Danny and his staff can get us up to those, top ends of those leagues in every age group to give us a chance to progress further in the future. So, very excited. Go to the slide about the added values, Danny. And this is another thing that we was kind of come up with, like how can we set our club apart from, you have options these days, right? I feel like there's a youth club popping up in every city, every little town. It's like, okay, I've got a club here, come to join my club, come to join my club. No problem. No problem. Celtic, we've been around for 50 years. All right. So we have our gala at the end of the year celebrating the 50 years. We're an established club. Now, with this environment, we've got to set ourselves apart. We cannot stand still. We have got to improve in every aspect, and we have a leadership crew that will. So, and these are the added values that, yes, you're going to see a lot in the spring, but also sprinkled around throughout the season. So, if you do have a weekend up in Arkansas and everyone's had two hard games the Saturday and Sunday. And Monday we're like, okay, maybe we were a little bit busted up. Hey, maybe we do more of an education off the field, whether that's sleep, whether that's nutrition. We have that schedule coming up soon. Trevor is a huge resource. If boys are starting to think about, okay, where do I want to play? We have some talent. I'm up against some good players in the RL. Do I want to play college ball and what that looks like? So Trevor is a huge asset and an added value. Not every youth club has a Trevor at their club. Mika Shana, right now he's going through his degree. He needs hours, so he's volunteering his time to work with our teams. Great. He will be a member of our staff moving forward. It's a great idea. I think the mental side of the game doesn't get worked on enough, right? Worked on enough. I was speaking to a parent yesterday, said their child, so nervous for a semi-final high school game. It's not eating, didn't sleep right, just super nervous. She gets super nervous before the game. Hey, we need to help that one player. Okay, hey, you're of Celtic. You have the option, to improve, the mental side of the game. What sort of growth areas do we need here? Same with Francois. Strength and conditioning. We're kind of working on a schedule throughout the season. To add that in with our practices. A lot of injuries occur, ACL. How can we get those down a little bit? Technique on the running side or jumping. So he's very equipped to help. And like I say, what information are we giving players so they can be the best they can be in practice and in the games, if that's regarding sleep, if that's regarding nutrition. Have we done that as much in the past? Do a lot of clubs do this? We feel like this is an added value for our programs, not just our boys side, it'll be for our girls side as well. And then one of the growth areas, I get a lot of feedback from parents. Hey, film access. We'll be filming. We will film every one of our RL games, and then have access for our second and third team to have access to that as well. So we do a lot of investment in our VOs and huddles. I think that's it's a side where coaches can get with teams. Is it a film night? Come into the conference room here in the office. Go through some team concepts with some players, or if a player needs some extra work, hey, maybe have a one-on-one with our players as well. So, just wanted to add on to Danny. Great information, and we wanted to get this out ASAP. We want to be as transparent as possible because we are really excited for the season. Really excited about the lateral move, excited to get going and go from there. Cool. All right, we had our first question. Love it. Yeah, let's go to the question page, Danny. Over the summer. Will Francois or anyone else be running a strength conditioning skills work over the summer or even small-sided informal nights? Nothing's planned right now with Francois. Maybe we'll send someone out some feedback, maybe a little survey about that. So if we do have enough interest, maybe we can reach out to Francois to set something up. I mean, that's a great idea. I know we'll be sending summer packets out. Danny and Noel will be sending packets out to the competitive programs with like worksheets on what our players should be doing, can be doing in those June, July. But I think it's not a bad idea if Francois is available during the summer. Jeff, let me get back with you if you want to send me an email just as a reminder. We can reach out to Francois and go from there. I know we do have a small-sided event, 3v3, 5v5, Summerfest series as always in the summer. That's a great option for small-sided events. If any of the players want to get together and come out on a night, more than welcome to open up the complex for them to have access to that as well.
Yeah, and we this is maybe putting the horse before the cart, or the cart before the horse, but we are looking potentially at obviously coach the women's team within the WPSL. So we are exploring, not for this summer, but potentially next summer. There's some options for a men's team and a women's team that potentially we can have represent Celtic and kind of be at the top of our pyramid. But yeah, like Trud says, if there's kind of a want and people want to get together and get some things going, then we can certainly see if we can fulfill that.
Hey guys, I had a question.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate y'all. That was a lot of great information. I want to say I heard this on one of the podcasts you guys did. You were talking about how the coaches were going to be reaching out to all the current players and discussing with them the age group change and if that was going to affect them or not, like if they were going to move up or not. Is that still something that you guys are having the coaches do, or?
100%. I know Danny's smiling because on Monday we gave them Sunday as a deadline to do that, Aaron. Yeah, so it's just kind of a reminder. I know it's kind of been a busy period with everything that's going on, especially with with coaches as well. But yeah, just a reminder. So was it Wednesday right now? So yeah, you should be receiving phone calls from coaches. Noel sent that, and Danny sent that to the coaching slate. Was it Monday or Sunday? I think it might be Sunday.
Monday, yeah, Monday morning, yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and like I say, those phone calls are just touching base with where what questions maybe you guys had individually based on the age group, and then it's just we kind of spoke about it in January. About my big thing is we need to create environments that are challenging. Okay, so very challenging. So the development doesn't happen if you're not a challenging coach, but then also showing love. So that phone call is a little bit about both. Just kind of coaches saying, hey, you've enjoyed having them, at the practices, the games, have enjoyed it. Maybe it's a little bit of a goodbye if they're not in that age group as well, and maybe just IDP session as well. Hey, if parents say, hey, what do you think little Johnny needs to work on? And again, he's not going to improve in the next couple of weeks, but maybe it's something to kind of think about moving forward as well. So yes, great question. Those phone calls should be completed by Sunday. The directors will be following up
Yeah.
reach out to us if they haven't been done. So,
And the coaches might not thank me either, but feel free to call them. Reach out to them as well, and you can prompt that communication because it's this time of year where Monday, May 11th, that's just gone. It's open season in terms of clubs that are within the same platform can now call
Right.
other players. So we know we've heard already that multiple of our players are getting calls from the club up north, the Superpower, and for me again, we need to make sure that we are showing that same want for our players and our membership. We got to tell them that they're just not going to wake up and feel it, especially if somebody else is calling and promising the sun and the stars. So yeah, it's vital for us, and I think it's vital communication as we all just want to be on the field putting out cones and coaching soccer, but we need you guys as allies. Our membership, our parents need to be very much part of the soccer journey that we're on. So we're hoping that this is a first step towards that.
Yeah, sounds good. Thank you, guys.
Danny, we had Peter, great question. This spring had a lot of conflict with high school schedules, and we had very limited practices and very few games. What is the plan to prevent that for next spring? Great
Yeah.
question. Go.
Yeah, so obviously on the RL side, because I think the local leagues, the OPL and stuff, still manage to maintain a little bit more in terms of games, and when there's a game, there's maybe more attendance at training when there's a game at the end of the week type of thing. The RL schedule was done and dusted before we came in, and I do think it'll still be a little more heavy towards the fall, but I'll certainly push on my end to have a bit more of an extended season so that we're not done within the space of 4 months. And even though we put out tournaments and events, I know for the oldest age group in particular, we're fully focused on what was coming next in high school. No matter how many things I put out, there wasn't a lot of bites on it. So part of that is communicating some of the schedule early, like if we pencil now the Dallas Cup or the Phoenix Cup type of thing within the spring, if we can extend the RL season. And again, I'll be part of those conversations. Obviously it'll be me and the other directors putting together that schedule, but I'll certainly push for that. And then I just think we need to really have a concise plan going into the spring in terms of maybe here's the programs that are running on these days. So is it with Mike Ashana? Is it with Francois? Do we have 3 or 4 of our kind of high school age teams? What options do we have for them in terms of combining and making sure we got good numbers where it's worthwhile? You've highlighted it, but it's certainly something that we are well aware of and kind of brainstorming and really looking at put a concrete plan out and make sure that it's a full season and we are very much part of the high school season as well.
Peter, do you want to respond with the age group that you're in right now? And is it the RL? Is it OPL? What? Because like I said, I'm not sure if you're in the U15 to U18. So this has happened for many years, especially in Oklahoma. High school season comes around, it is king. So then it's what do we do? What strategies do we have as a club to still help those players? So if every high school player that we have is practicing, 2 to 3 hours every day, depending on the intensity of the session, is it a day before a game, or is that player playing every minute and so on. So there's multiple factors that come into that. So if that high school player, we've got to really understand their workload throughout that season. So instead of maybe that consistent practice schedule, I'll say it will still be consistent, but it'll be maybe more optional. So then, when it's optional, it'd be like, okay, the players that maybe haven't played a lot of games in high school, hey, they can turn up to a practice. We can put some group practices on and then go from there. But then, if teams like our second, third teams, maybe those players aren't playing as much, we've got to really, work on, their practice schedule, their their game schedule as well, which I believe they will do in this new National One League. It will be highlighted even more. And then like the first question, it's the need of that individual team. If that individual team needs more games in the spring, we've got to be proactive in we're scheduled more. Hey, what league are they? Are they playing in? Do they need more league games? And if it's not the league, it's okay. Maybe it's more heavily on the tournaments on the weekend. But that means if you are attending events, showcases, tournaments on that weekend, they need a consistent practice schedule on that side. It's not easy. It's not. I've seen it. I've been there for around about 20 years in this environment. There's not an easy answer. I've had U17, U18 teams before. I've done multiple strategies where I say, okay, we get to February, hey, we're off until I see you in April. And then once you get to April, hey, let's get back into it. Let's attend these showcase events and so on. Now, problem with that, hey, you're paying monthly. You know what I mean? So it's like, okay, and I'm not doing anything for 2 months. Then other strategies are, hey, let's go down to one practice a week. Well, we advertise that it's supposed to be 3 practices a week for our top teams, 2 for our second and third teams. Well, if you go down to 1, again, are you getting your money's worth? So I think this is what we're coming up with, these spring initiatives. It's, hey, if it's not just on the field, hey, what more can we do off the field, to really help our players? So then you feel like, okay, if it's not on the field for one practice, it's, hey, you're in with Trevor, hey, you're in with Mika, with the mental performance side of it. So yeah, we're working on it. It's not easy, but we want to finalize our plan though, just so it does give you, hey, this is what it looks like in the spring. So then you're not maybe blindsided. Hey, well, I thought it was supposed to be 2 practices from August to May. We need to really kind of have that 10-month schedule mapped out for you, beginning in a couple of weeks, honestly,
Yeah.
just so you know before tryouts. So that's important. But yeah, great question. Any other questions? You're welcome. Great question, Steve. So Steve said, will all teams be scheduled with mental strength coaches regularly, or is it up to the coaches to book it? Great question. So right now I'm coming up with I need to meet with Miko. So once he's done with this season, he gets done with his course. Like I said before, he's finishing up his degree in this field. He's doing everything on his own back. He needs these hours, so he's doing everything for free. I'm just going to come up with a plan, a budget to add this in. But yeah, it will be more of a scheduled, him working with our coaches, or it might even be our director saying, hey, this night this boys program, they're coming back from a big event this weekend. Hey, Monday, hey, you're going to come into the office. So yeah, we'll plan it, and like I said, we'll push it out into schedules, into team snaps, and then go from there. But yeah, it'll be more. Maybe necessarily won't be on the coaches, but it'll be on the program directors to make sure, hey, each individual team has seen Mika X number of times, as I come up with my budget for him or his pay for the next season. Absolutely. Yeah. Cancer. I see that a lot, right? So, top teams practice 3 times a week. That Monday is always usually, and again, some parents might like it because it's like, oh, I've traveled to
us too.
Houston.
Save some gas, especially gas prices.
Yeah. Or, for that Monday practice, they're like, oh, I'm glad practice is off. Well, hold on a minute. Like it's three practices a week. So, hopefully we can, put someone else on a Monday that, will compensate that basically. Not a question. Let's see. Not a question. However, I'm looking forward to not driving down to South Texas on the weekends in the fall. Maybe I should say nearly every weekend down in South Texas in the fall, right? So just thought I'd add that. But if you do have a question, feel free to plug it in there. Miss Reynolds. Mrs. Reynolds. Danny, if you were listening to this as a parent, what question would you have? See if I can answer it. I want to put you on the spot there.
Goodness. Yeah, I think for me, and I've got 4 kids. And my oldest, Liliana, she's a 2012. And so we were crazy parents that were driving to Dallas. She's been playing on solar the last year. So having done that, now we're gonna bring her back, and hopefully she'll be placed within a Celtic team. But having done that, Solar's probably one of the best clubs in the country. Again, I still see the value in, the right environment, really, what are we doing for the individual player rather than Solar's going to finish top of every league that they're in, which is great for the club and great for the players that are doing it. But what are we doing for each individual player potentially that, helps the individual as well as the team?
Yeah, nah, absolutely. Was there a question there, or was that just a comment?
Yeah, I mean that for me that's the question. Like, what are maybe some of the things that we're doing as a club, that we can relate to parents, that you're not just you are part of a team, and there's life lessons in that, and there's things that we want to work towards. But like as an individual, how are we ensuring that maybe you're setting goals and hitting them, and adjusting and touching base with coaches and that type of thing.
Yeah, no, I think that's I mean, let's look at it as a wider spectrum. We're in both platforms. So we have US Club Soccer, so at ECNL, and then we have USYS, GA, MLS Next. They're always fighting to say, hey, we're the best. We're the best platform. We're the best platform. We're the best league. This league's the best. This will give you more exposure. Yes, in a sense. All right. So in a sense, however, you know, players will have um, vastly different experiences based on that individual coach. Okay, so that's why I'm excited, more excited, because I know we have such a great staff this coming season that are so invested in our players. We have, let's say, myself, I'm over you guys, right? I'm over you and Niall, and I'm helping you, hopefully mentoring you. But then that's trickling down. Danny, you're over your boys staff. You're experienced enough to build that culture in the boys program. Those coaches are experienced enough to challenge every single player, from our top team to our third team, and every single player and parent has a wonderful and great experience. That's one of my goals, and that's being challenging to that player, but then also to show them love and that we care. Have we done that? Always done that in that past? Probably not. So that's one of our growth areas that we wrote down that we really want to improve, and it starts with that individual coach. So experiences can be vastly different, whether that's in the training environment and the game environment on the weekend, depending on that individual coach. Because if we have a jerk that's a coach at Celtic, what happens? Well, it's not that individual coach that gets a bad rap. It's Celtic. I don't think we have someone like that. So I'm very excited from the top to the bottom that we have coaches that are really invested. Everyone seems happy to work here. Everyone's growing, and we just want to continue that, especially on the boys program. From our first teams, all the way to fifth teams if we have them in an age group.
Yeah. No, that's great. That's great. Yeah, and I maybe didn't lead you there very well at all, but your answer was good. We have some IDP stuff that we're going to roll out, and kind of similar to the question Aaron had. Like, we're going to make sure the coaches are regularly meeting with parents and players. We're going to have a kind of living, breathing document on each player within the club that they can access, that coach can go in and make notes, that the player can go in and set goals kind of all through the 4 areas of the game that we spoke about earlier. So we want to make sure that we're having that communication piece so that not only are they a vital part of the team, the club, but individually they feel like they're growing and being challenged, like you said, and being shown that love as well.
Any other questions before we get off here? Let's this has been recorded. I'll plug this on our website, our YouTube channel first, and then our website for the links. If you need to re-watch it, or if you have a parent that is asking about it later, they can re-watch it.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you.
Thanks, Cody. Appreciate it.